Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Pisces, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of March. I hope you're well. I'm using the Lost Forest for you today. If what comes out in the reading resonates with you, there will be an extended at the end of the reading, so you can have a look in the description box. There's a link down there that will take you to the extended. And I've also done a 6-month overview for 2021. It runs from January to June. That's still available, and that's also down in the description box. So Pisces, let's have a look and see what's going on with you. I feel a little bit withdrawn, a little bit subdued with your energy today, but let's have a look and see what's going on. Tell me about Pisces, please. What 3 cards for Pisces? The first card that's flipped there is the Hermit. There's definitely a hermity feel to your energy today, but let's get a jumper. Ooh. We have the 8 of Wands. That's interesting. 2 more cards for Pisces, please. Different energy. We have the Queen of Wands. And here we have the 10 of Pentacles. Right. We've got the Knight of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and I like that because that's you, Pisces. And it's followed by the Empress. It actually feels like you're working on a plan for something. You know, the Empress is all about abundance and fertility and growth and that sort of thing, right? But it is about bringing something new into the world, and it feels kind of like you're sitting on an egg at the moment. You're kind of hatching something. I'm not sure where the subdued feeling is coming from, but let's pull these some clarifiers out and have a look. Tell me about the 8 of Wands, please. That's the 8 of Wands here. I have the Chariot. And I have the 10 of Swords. That's interesting. Tell me about the Queen of Wands, please. It was the Queen of Wands that just flipped in the deck there. We've got the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. And one more for the Queen of Wands, please. Queen of Wands, thank you. And the 6 of Wands. And then what about this 10 of Pentacles, please? What's going on here? We have the 7 of Pentacles. And we have the 4 of Pentacles. Right, I'm going to go with all change being what's going on here. I feel like the subdued and slightly withdrawn feeling that you have. It isn't necessarily sad, but it feels like there's an acceptance of something coming to completion. There's an ending going on here, right? And whilst there is a great deal of determination about the future, because I've got a whole heap of cards under here, right? We've got the Page of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. That's about really, you know, examining what is important, but taking steps to start something new. Followed by the 10 of Wands, and I love this one because she's actually put the wands down in this deck. A release of burden, right, letting it go. But it's followed by the 10 of Cups and the Sun and the 4 of Wands. Like, I really do feel like you're casting your eye towards something new. You're working on it, planning on it. That's where that kind of hatching energy is. That, you know, you're kind of sitting on an egg and you know, keeping something warm. But necessarily something needs to end, and I feel that is perhaps where some of the subdued energy is coming from for you. So what we have in your recent past is the 8 of Wands there. Now that is a card that traditionally talks about communication, right? I see it actually as an increase in momentum more often, and that's how it feels like it's coming through for you. It's like the idea that wouldn't go away, and the thing that stopped you from doing whatever it was for the longest time. It actually feels like it was other people's response to it. You know, we've got this 10 of Wands and 10 of Cups there. There's a certain amount of responsibility for everybody else's emotional well-being that you seem to be feeling at the moment. And it was significant enough that it stopped you making changes that you wanted to institute for yourself. But now, you know, as this idea has taken hold and it is doing what it's doing, it doesn't feel to me like you want to let it go, right? Such that now there's an acceptance. We'll see that with the Knight of Cups and the Empress here. There's an acceptance that the new is going to happen, and more than that, you're driving it. Right? It's not like, oh well, shit, things are ending and obviously new things will begin. No, there's something very purposeful about this. Let me shut this window. Driven entirely by you, and what held you back before, like I said, is this sense of how it would affect other people. And the acceptance actually is towards the fact that other people possibly will not enjoy what changes you're about to make for yourself. But knowing that you have to make them, you know, I just want to pull one more card for that. Because whatever is new, whatever it is that you're driving towards, right, you know that this is the right thing for you. Absolutely certain of that. But your propensity towards taking on other people's feelings as if they were your own, feeling other people's pain as if it were your own, has left you with a sense of responsibility that has been actually a little too hard over the years. And now it seems like this, it's kind of like drawing a line and going, all right, okay, I feel a little bit like I've done my time now. And the acceptance is that, yes, people will not enjoy this next move that I'm making, but it's the right thing for me. What about this Chariot? Slid out there. We've got the Moon. What about this? And the High Priestess. Yeah. This isn't something you come to on a whim. Not at all. This is something that's been sitting there for a very long time, right? We've got the card of Cancer here with the Moon, and the card of you, Pisces, as the High Priestess. It's like both of them speak to the internal place. And I have to keep going with the egg analogy. You know, you have to crack some eggs to make an omelette, and it feels like it's time. It's time to crack the eggs. Okay? There's been a long, careful, considered, drawn out almost conversation with yourself about this. And it's like you're now prepared to do the hard thing, to relieve yourself of the burden, and I think that's great. I really do think that's great. So in your current energy, we have the Queen of Wands. I really, really like this. You know, she's my favourite queen, right? Because she's confident and she's bold and she's dynamic, she's all of these things, but she's active. You know, she's actively making a difference to something. The other queens, even the Queen of Swords, they're really quite static, and they are true to their nature of being very receptive. You know, all the queens indicate receptive energy. But of all of them, she's the one that moves. She is the one that takes something in her hands and goes, right, I'm going to do this a different way. It's very much about living the whole suit of wands for me. And so to have you sitting in a Queen of Wands energy, it's like movement is happening, things are occurring. And even if it's not actually in the execution stage yet, whatever the plan is, every day that's passing is having you feeling more resolute about the wisdom of what it is that you're doing, right? I like this because it speaks to me of a separation occurring between you and the collective that you have, you know, kind of, well, let's face it, subjugated yourself to for quite a long time, right? This is a finding of self, almost. It's a creation of a foundation of self, and we see that. Well, where did we see it? We saw it here in the Four of Wands. Yeah? Four of Wands and the Sun. Like, what really makes you happy? That's the thing that you're going after now. And it's clarified under here by the Five of Pentacles in reverse and the Six of Wands. Like, you're done depriving yourself of your own basic needs, right? Now, for a Pisces, actually, a basic need of sorts is actually to be able to mesh with the people around you, you know? But as the boundaries are starting to come into the right place, and I do feel like there's some boundary stuff going on here, as the sense of self that you are feeling is starting to become strengthened, and so much more than it ever has been, it seems to me a little bit like there's an understanding that you do not need to be the glue that holds everybody together, you know, because you, by definition, you separate up yourself, you know, you spread yourself out very, very thinly between people. And the depth of the emotional processing that you do for other people that they are absolutely unaware of, It's really quite profound, but you know it. Like, you understand it very, very well. And the time for separation is here. The time for you attending to your own needs is here. And they are separate from other people. We've got the Six of Wands, which is another Leo card. Not another Leo card, because that's Aries actually, but it is a Leo card. And it talks about victory, right? It talks about, well, you could say living your best life, really. I mean, usually there's a triumphant looking knight, you know, kind of riding back into town, and one would assume that, you know, he's been at war. And in fact, you know, following on from the Five of Wands, as it does, you know, there's been some sort of conflict, and then here we have the Six of Wands. The Six is being the movement away from this thing. For him, it is a triumphant return, you know, to his people. Look how I've saved you, and I've done all of these things. But this one's a little simpler, and I like this. And living your best life. Being finally aware of what living your best life looks like to you is a huge thing here. Tell me about the Six of Wands, please. We have the Two of Wands. Tell me about the Six of Wands. I think that's really what it comes down to here, Pisces. Like, you've brought yourself to this crossroads. Right? There's no big energy coming slapping you from the side and going, you need to make a decision now. This is, like I said, it's been long, slow, drawn out, considered process, moving ever slowly closer to this crossroads. You know, like, now I want to make a decision about my life. It's not that I need to, it's that I want to. I want to. And that's coming from an Aries. There wouldn't be anything particularly profound about that, right? Aries is all about I am, right? I want, I do, I. It's I, right? It's very ego-driven as a sign. Pisces, absolutely the reverse, you know? Like I was saying, you're the last sign in the zodiac. You actually, for me, indicate the pinnacle of the lessons learned in the cycle of the rest of the zodiac, yeah? So for you to discover a sense of self at this point is actually an incredibly profound moment. For you to pull yourself to a crossroads and say, I want to make decisions about my life. I want to go one way or the other. It's huge. It's a huge moment for you. And it does not surprise me that it's tinged with something. Just a little bit of something. Like it's not sadness exactly, but it's a kind of weary acceptance that this must occur. And the two cards that came out were the Ten of Wands and the Hierophant. And I really do think that, well, we've got the Ten of Wands here. Yeah, there's burden. It's the second time it's come out for you. But with the Hierophant, it's about doing things the way that they've always been done, you know. I actually think for some of you, what with the Hierophant and the High Priestess being here, that actually you are feeling guided now towards something. Like, I mean, you're always guided. You're a very intuitive sign, you know. You're feeling guided in a direction, and it feels spiritual, but not in a way of like, right, I'm going to go and live in the woods and be a witch now. It's like the spiritual aspect of you has actually been the finding of yourself, and now it's about how you relate to the world with this. And I would never go as far as to say ego, because it's just, the ego is not something, it's not a word that I associate with Pisces at all, but it's the looking for something different, you know, being your own spiritual teacher, for sure, but turning your back on what has been the structure of your life. You know, you might find yourself kind of just turning away from society just a little bit and going, well, actually, no, I am going to go and live in the woods, and it's going to be mint. I spend all my time talking to animals, and it's going to be fantastic. You know, there's a pulling back in here for you. So the final card that you've got is the Ten of Pentacles. And this is a card that talks to me about commitment. It talks about, you know, that point where heritage and legacy collide. So we've got a big oak tree, but notice that we've got the acorns on the tree at the same time, right? You know, we've got something that is new, but we've got something that is very established, and the possibility of creating more of these established things. It's a commitment to the plan, for sure. But the other thing that it talks about is you know, home, is location, is what it looks like to you. Sometimes it can be business. It is a structure. But there's a shift. It's a huge shift coming for you. We've got the Seven of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles down there. There is a release of what is unsatisfactory to you, right? We're taking whatever the acorn is for a Pisces and we're planting it in the woods, and we're prepared to sit with it until it grows into something that we want to nurture, we want to care for. Well, that's 10 of those, please. Thank you. Page of Wands. There's the start of the movement right there. Right. 9 of Wands. Boundaries. 10 of Pentacles. And the 10 of Pentacles again. Like, I think that you're prepared now to transplant yourself from wherever you have been for a long time into something different. Right? 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles. What you invest in is changing. The nature of what you're investing in is changing. And certainly some of it is investing in yourself. But there's also a level of divesting from and releasing yourself from things that you have been attached to before. You're looking for a different kind of 10 of Pentacles kind of situation here, right? Because the boundaries have helped you discover yourself. And actually quite excited about what comes next. Like, I don't feel like it's a, you know, like a raging fire sign level of excitement, but there's a contentedness, there's a peace about what's coming next. And that's unusual. You're not going to let that go, right? A feeling is too strong. Oh, I love it for you, Pisces, I really do. So, if this has resonated with you, I'm going to go over to Vimeo now. We're going to have a look a little bit more deeply at what's going on here, because there's a couple of things I can see already that I would like to kind of sit with a little bit longer and talk about maybe a little bit more. So if you're interested in that, come join me. If not, that's absolutely fine. I'm really pleased about this. I really am. This is good. And although, you know, there are some issues, you are doing the right thing for you, and it's commendable, it's laudable, but it's peaceful. It's just good, Pisces. I love it. Right, you take care. Know that I love you all very, very much, and I'll see you soon.